Give me a girl again. You will not step foot in this house.
She was 5 months pregnant. Her husband looked at her. He made a promise. It had nothing to do with love. Give me a girl again. You will not step foot in this house. You will go from that hospital bed straight to your father's house. Benson said this to Paulina. He did not shout it. He was calm. He was deliberate. He had already made peace with it. A child that did not yet exist had already been sentenced. The sentence was based on one thing: which gender the child might turn out to be. Paulina already had 4 daughters. Benson had once smiled for all 4. He had once celebrated them. He had once spent money he did not have to dedicate them in church. Somewhere between the first and the fourth, that smile changed. It became resentment. The resentment wore the marks of tradition. It became cruelty. The cruelty wore the marks of culture. Weeks later, Paulina lay alone in a hospital bed. Her blood pressure was dangerously high. Her body was fighting to survive an emergency delivery. She called her husband. She told him what the doctors had said. His reply was not, "Are you okay?" His reply was 7 words. Those 7 words told her exactly what she was to him. To understand how this marriage ended that way, you have to go back to the start. Back to a wedding. Back to a mechanic workshop. Back to a woman in a navy blue skirt who had no idea what she was walking into. Before we continue with this true life story, do me a favor. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any of our lesson-packed stories. Let's continue. Before any of this, there was just a young man and a young woman. They were building separate lives in Onitsha. This was before the daughters, before the ultimatums, before 10 years of silence. Benson was a car mechanic. He trained under a man everyone called Columbus. Columbus was the mechanic other mechanics called when a job was too hard. Have you tried Columbus? People would ask. Benson trained under him since he was a teenage apprentice. He trained alongside his closest friend, Paulinus. The 2 boys grew up together under that workshop roof. They learned together, they sweated together, they argued with different customers together. In time, Columbus gave them both capital. They opened their own shops. The shops were just a few doors apart. Paulinus married first. His wife was Ozamaka. She was a quiet, warm woman from their church. It was at Paulinus and Ozamaka's traditional wedding that Benson first saw Paulina. The compound was full of ashobi and talking drums. Paulina was Ozamaka's closest friend. She was fair-skinned and tall. She wore a navy blue skirt and a crisp white top. She moved through the crowd, helping to organize things. She was laughing with guests. She did not know that a young mechanic across the compound had already decided something about her. She was too busy that day to exchange numbers with anyone, but Benson did not forget a face he had made up his mind about. The following Sunday, he visited his friend's new house. Over a plate of Sunday rice, he asked Ozamaka about her. He asked, almost too casually, about the fair, tall one, the one in the navy skirt. Ozamaka laughed. "Oh, that's Paulina," she said. "We work in the same office." Without asking Paulina first, she gave Benson the number. Paulina ignored the first call. She never answered numbers she did not know. It was a discipline she had built for herself. Lagos and cities like it are full of strange men calling strange women. But the number called again the next day. This time, curiosity won. "My name is Benson," the voice said. "I got your number from your friend." She felt a flicker of irritation. Uzamaka gave a stranger my number, she thought, and did not even warn me. But she kept her voice polite. "Okay," she said. "How may I help you?" "How do we see, please?" he asked. "See for what?" "When we see, I will tell you." She almost laughed at the boldness of it. "I don't think I have the chance," she told him. She thought that was the end of it. It was not the end. He called again the following week. He called again the week after that. Benson was patient in a particular way. It was not a gentle patience. It was the patience of a man who had already decided something. He was simply waiting for the world to catch up. Eventually, one than more than persuaded, Paulina agreed to meet him. She made one condition: it had to happen somewhere public. That Saturday evening, she walked into Amara restaurant. Her guard was fully up. Benson was already there, waiting. They greeted each other politely. He called the waitress over. What would you like to order? He asked. A bottle of water, Paulina said. He looked at her surprised. That's all? That's all. A silence settled between them. It was a kind of silence where two strangers decide, quietly, whether the meeting is worth continuing. It was Paulina who broke it. So, she said, why am I here? Benson cleared his throat. Then he said the words that would decide the shape of 6 lives not yet born. Those words were spoken decades before any of those lives existed. I met you at Paulina's wedding, he said. Since that day, you have not left my thoughts. I am not asking you to be my girlfriend. I am asking you to be my wife. Paulina stared at him. This was not a man asking her on a second date. This was a proposal across an untouched bottle of water from a man she had met exactly twice. You're too fast, she told him, half laughing in disbelief. You just saw me today, and already you are asking me to be your wife. Marriage doesn't work like that. 3 months later, Paulina became Mrs. Benson. Paulina became pregnant almost immediately. It was a quick, easy pregnancy, a kind Nigerian aunties love to call a blessing at family functions. Their first child was a girl. They named her Faithful. Benson spent money he did not really have on her dedication. There was a live band. There was more jollof rice than the family could finish. He carried her at the altar with both arms. His smile was so wide it looked almost painful in the photos from that day. Everyone said Benson was a proud father. For a while, he genuinely was. 17 months later, a second daughter arrived. Her name was Peace. She was still a girl. Those who were there say the smiles at her dedication were a little thinner. Not gone, just thinner. Like fabric starting to wear at the elbow. Not yet torn. But he could hold it to the light and see through it if he knew where to look. Then came Favor, the tall daughter. This was the birth where something in Benson first shifted, Paulina would later say. It was not open anger yet. It was restlessness. He started coming home later. He started going quiet in ways he had not before. He would sit outside in the evening, staring at nothing. When Paulina asked what was wrong, he would say nothing. He said it in a tone that made clear nothing was in fact something enormous. Then came Ella, the fourth daughter. That was when Benson stopped pretending. The restlessness that had sat in his chest for 2 years finally found its voice. That voice was cruel. What kind of a woman are you? He would say to Paulina, that you cannot give me a son. Paulina's wife had given him 3 sons already. 3! And you keep giving me only girls. Who will carry my name when I am gone? Who will replace me when I am no more? Paulina never had an answer. There was not one to give. Was it her fault in some way she could control? That her body kept producing daughters? Were girls, was she, were her own children, somehow less than human because of the chromosome they happened to carry? She would open her mouth to say some version of this. Before she could finish, Benson would already be storming out. The door would slam hard enough to rattle the windows. He was angry at the biology he refused to understand. He refused even more stubbornly to accept it. Is it ever in any way a woman's fault which gender she gives birth to? If the honest answer is no, because it is no, what does it say about the man who punishes a woman anyway? What does it say when he punishes her for something neither of them ever controlled? Type your answer in the comments before you keep watching. Paulina discovered she was pregnant a 5th time. The atmosphere in the house changed. Even her small daughters could feel it. Children are more perspective than adults give them credit for. They do not always understand what is wrong, but they feel that something is wrong. It is the way you feel a change in weather before the rain starts. That was when Benson delivered the line this story opened with. Give me a girl child again. You will not step foot in this house. You will go from the hospital bed straight to your father's house. It was not, I will be disappointed. It was not, let's talk about this. It was a direct threat of banishment. It was issued to a pregnant woman. It was about a child that did not yet exist. It was based entirely on which gender that unborn child might turn out to be. After that, Benson began disappearing more and more. He would leave in the morning for work and simply not return. Not that evening. Sometimes not the next day either. He stopped paying the children's school fees. When Paulina raised it, his reasoning came out without shame. Why would I spend my money training girls who will not carry my name? There were 4 daughters, already alive, already breathing, already needing to eat and learn. Their own father had declared out loud that they were not worth investing in, purely because none of them had been born with the anatomy he wanted. Then came the Tuesday night this story opened with. Paulina had been feeling unwell for hours. She had a heaviness in her chest. She had a headache that would not lift. She had swelling in her hands and feet that she had been quietly ignoring. There was no one to tell. Benson was not home again. She left the 4 girls with a neighbor. She walked alone, pregnant, unwell, to the hospital near the house. The doctor did not sugarcoat anything. Her blood pressure was dangerously high. Left untreated, she was at a serious risk of eclampsia. Eclampsia can kill both mother and child. An operation was needed urgently. First, a deposit had to be paid. Paulina called Benson. Here was a woman, possibly hours from a medical emergency, that could take her life. She was calling her husband, the man who had vowed before God and family to protect her. She was asking for help. Let her do whatever she wants to do, he said. Just don't bring a girl back to my house. That was his answer. Not, are you okay? A conditional statement about gender, delivered over the phone to a woman who might have been dying. It came from 100 miles of indifference. With no other option, Paulina called her own father. This was the same father Benson used to reassure smoothly. Every time he asked why Paulina looked tired or thin, Benson had an answer. She's fine, Papa. Don't worry. I take good care of her. Hello, Daddy, Paulina said, keeping her voice as steady as she could. Please, I need some money. Paulina, her father said, immediately alert to something in her tone. I hope all is well. Yes, Papa, she lied. My husband traveled. His number isn't going through. Fathers know something, even through a carefully built lie. He sent the money without asking another question. Not because he believed her, because he understood, underneath it, that his daughter needed help. She was too proud or too broken to ask for it directly. The operation was successful. It was twins, 2 more girls, not 1, 2.